This is the start of a 10-week journey that we're going to be on together. 10 weeks.
Live from the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge in Kingman, it's the Coach's Corner program. The high school football show with news and interviews, scores, and more. Good morning, everybody. Tom Erickson here alongside T.G. LaFredo with a recap of regional scores and a review of Kingman High School Bulldog football from last night. Kingman High School football on 90.7 KJZK and the Coach's Corner program is made possible by the generous financial support of these businesses. The Ramada Kingman, home to the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge. The Right C, Vitamin C by Dr. C. The Colorado River Ford family of dealerships. By Frontier Communications. Kingman Regional Medical Center. Rutherford 66 Family Diner. Taco Bell. The T-Mobile Simply Prepaid Store. Datamax Wireless. Nucor Steel. Pizza Hut. Desert Mountain Security. Uptown Drug and Home Medical Supply. And by American Woodmark Corporation. And good morning and welcome once again to the Coach's Corner program on 90.7 FM KJZK and on our internet feed at kjza.org. Tom Erickson along with T.G. LaFredo and a whole host of fabulous stars and media personalities from last night's game between Kingman and the Kingman Academy. Let's recap some of the scores in the section from last night. Lake Havasu played Parker and they defeated them 43-0. That moves Havasu to 8-0 on the year and puts Parker at 3-5. Mojave and Lee Williams, Mojave 52, Lee Williams 42, moving Mojave to 3-5. They will meet the Kingman Bulldogs next week. Lee Williams falls to 2-6 on the year, and River Valley blew out Wickenburg, an unexpected blowout. Gosh, it was only 50-0. So River Valley moves to 7-1 and Wickenburg 3-5 on the year. And last night, the game you heard here on 90.7 KJZK, the Kingman Academy defeating our hometown Kingman High School Bulldogs 49-14. So that evens it out. 1-7 on the year for the Academy, 1-7 on the year for Kingman. Next week, it'll be the Bulldogs traveling down to Bullhead City to meet Mojave, the beautiful drive that keeps you alive. Lee Williams High School is down at Wickenburg. The Academy plays Havasu, and Parker is at River Valley. Section stats so far on the year. Nate Sinclair, the Bulldogs, 615 yards on the year passing. Dan Mason over at the Academy, number 6 on the list at 246. Receiving yards, another Bulldog on the list, number 5, Garrett Stevens, 196. Total tackles on the year, Tristan Pitts from the Academy, 103. He's also their ace punter, number 1 in the state, number 5 nationally this week. Jordan McDowell-Siebert has 83 total tackles on the year, and the Bulldogs, Garrett Stevens, 63. Interceptions, Landon Kramer's on the charts. He's number 3 at 2 interceptions on the year. The Bulldogs, Julian Nelson, 5.5 sacks, and rushing yards. Nate Cottrell for the Academy, 518 total yards on the year. Jordan McDowell-Siebert is number 4 on the list at 528, and guess who is number 3? Isaiah Perez, 659 yards on the year. So that's the scores and the lineups for this coming week. Lake Havasu leading the standings right now at 5-0 on the year, matching River Valley's 5-0. Mojave is 3-2. They, of course, meeting the Bulldogs this coming week. Wickenburg 2-3, Parker 2-3, Lee Williams 2-3, the Academy 1-4, and Kingman 0-5 in league play. So a great week this week. It'll be an even better week next week as things kind of filter down here to the end of the season. Our last game and the Bulldogs' last home game will be Wickenburg 2 weeks from this weekend, and the Bulldogs will be playing at home. We'll be back to talk to the coaches with more after this. Kingman High School live football broadcasts are made possible by the generous support of these businesses. Frontier Communications, proud to support Kingman High School football. For over 75 years, Frontier has been the name you trust in Kingman for communication solutions for home and business. Find answers to your questions about internet, voice, video, and digital home security at frontier.com. By Kingman Regional Medical Center, serving our community with compassion and commitment. KRMC is a strong partner in the growth of our area, providing clinical care and patient services in an environment that fosters respect and pride. Learn more about your hospital and its many services at azkrmc.com. and by Brent and Tammy Rutherford at Rutherford 66 Family Diner in Kingman. Celebrating Kingman High School and the heyday of the Mother Road with familiar family-friendly recipes handed down from generation to generation. Brent and Tammy support the youth of our community by hosting many fundraisers at their restaurant. Open at 6 p.m. daily, it's Rutherford 66 Family Diner near the corner of Route 66 and Stockton Hill Road. And back now on the Coach's Corner program, live from the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge in Kingman. Tom Erickson along with T.G. LaFredo. Coaches and crew, players, parents, fans, and more in the house this morning. Every Saturday morning we do this when the Bulldogs have a home game. We invite the players, the fans, the coaches, and anyone else who wants to join us for breakfast here at the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge at the Ramada in Kingman to share the experience, share the feeling, and share in the joy of last night's game. And there was not much joy in Mudville. I'm talking up to game time. It was raining, sleeting, the wind was blowing. Everybody's hair got messed up. It just felt like a football night in October in Kingman. It was just beautiful. I said, there's nothing like the smell of fresh cut grass as long as it has white lines on it and yard markers and it's raining or snowing and muddy and yucky. And that's the way the night started out last night. And it turned out to be a terrific ball game between two hometown teams. First ever meeting between the Kingman High School Bulldogs and the crosstown rivals, I guess we will call them. It was the game for the silver medal in Kingman, the Bulldogs and the Tigers from Kingman Academy. Head coach Greg Tonjes is here. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, how are you?
You know, we're all outstanding this morning. I said it didn't make a difference what the score was really, and we have had 3 weeks of history-making ball games for the city championship. 3 teams that have never met each other in coincidence in the schedule before, the first time ever. So it has been 3 weeks of history-making football. And last night was the last chapter in that, the fight for the silver. Lee Williams High School won the city championship, and this was the fight for second and third place in the city standings. And as it turned out, the Tigers were the victors last night. But Kingman lost nothing. Nobody was injured, apparently, and it turned out to be a good evening of football. Tell us about it from your perspective. It just, for us in the booth, it was a great night of football.
Well, you know, it was a great setting. I mean, you know, I happen to like it when the weather gets a little different, and you know that adds to some of the challenge that you have in the field, especially when it's raining and windy like it was. And it's exciting for the city that you get the 3 teams get to play each other. You know, I'm not sure, based on some of the things that just came out from the AAA, that we'll be able to do that again next year. It looks like they're already starting to reclassify them, so classify all 3 of us. So that's kind of a interesting thing. But you know, it's exciting that all 3 teams get to play each other, and you know, the academy's a good group of people, and I've become good friends with Coach Stroop, and we appreciate them. And you know, unfortunately for us, we just didn't come out on top where we wanted to be, and you know, we're not there. We're not where we wanted to be at this point in the season either. So it's definitely disappointing to be at this point, you know, with a couple games left, and we didn't expect to be here. And but last night the setting was great, and you know, we had a great week of practice, and one of our better weeks of practice, and I really expected more than what we gave out last night in terms of playing on the football field.
So when you came into the game last evening, you had an idea of how you wanted to play that game and what you thought the Tigers were. So what changed in the first or second quarter?
Well, I don't know if anything changed. They are who we thought they would be. I mean, it was apparent, you know, from the film that we'd watched, from the statistics that you look at. You know, you study all of that leading up to the game, and we knew that they would be a running team. They didn't throw a lot. One of the things that they did do that we didn't expect as much is they did put a lot of pressure on our quarterback, and that was a little unexpected. They only had 3 sacks coming into the game. So, but no, our game plan offensively was to go in and really to smash them, you know, in the face and run and pound the ball, and we thought we could, and we did. And then we made halftime adjustments and even got better, you know, at running the football. But we didn't pass the ball well. We haven't passed the ball well, except for maybe a couple games, and that's something that, you know, that was disappointing last night because we worked a lot on that. But it didn't really change. It's just they came out and did what they did, and they actually did it very, very well. You know, they ran the ball hard, and they took advantage of openings in our defense, and They were, they had almost right about 500 yards of total offense, and the reality is if you give up 500 yards of offense and 49 points, it's going to be difficult to win a football game.
Well, and then they came out after half two in a hurry up offense and set up completely differently than anything I've seen them do so far this year in the 2 games we covered, and that kind of changed the complexion at the opening of the third quarter.
Yeah, and it's just frustrating at this point for all of us as a coaching staff. The players play the game, so I'm sure it's even as or more frustrating for them because they deal with the physical components of it, whereas we're dealing with the mental part of it all. But they came out and they scored with about a minute left in the first quarter, and then we, in the second quarter, we just kind of, don't play very well defensively, and they score, 2 more times and make it 21-0, and then right after that we go down and score, and now it's 21-7, so it's a 14-point game, and then right after that they, run off a 61-yard run, and now all of a sudden it's 28-7 at the half, and so it felt like an uphill battle, for the most part, and in the third, we come back, Tom, and we they go down and they score, and then we get the ball and we score, and then the very next play they go down and score. So it's just a little bit of an epidemic that we have in relationship to allowing these teams to come in and run for as much as they do, and then after we do something good, we allow them to come right back down and put it down our throats. So again, frustrating. We're frustrated. And again, I appreciate that the Kingman teams are playing each other, and that's exciting. But it would make it a lot more exciting if all of us were had more wins and losses, and the wins and the games meant even more. And that's where I'd like to see this city. If you have 3 teams that are competing to play in the playoffs, and to win section and things like that, it becomes that much more significant and that much more exciting for the city. And obviously our program is not near where it needs to be, and this is my second year, and I'm really, really disappointed in it.
Well, there's always next year. You have 2 more games to go, and I think all 3 coaches in the city were saying the same thing, if not 2 weeks ago this week, that we're all in a rebuilding stage trying to find our footing and make it work. Lee Williams just happened to get a little bit of traction and, playing the local city teams, and that gave him something to look forward to. It didn't work out last night, but that's the way it goes. So, there is a future, and football is football. That was a great Dennis Green quote. They were who we thought they were, they are who we thought we were. And
yep. One of the more classic press conferences of all time. In fact, can I hit my microphone just to?
That's right. Just knock it off the table.
Just knock it off the table.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like that right now. So.
Dennis is one of my least favorite coaches at Minnesota, and then of course he got a couple of other jobs and kind of disappeared. I think he's an offensive coordinator for a Pee Wee league in Tuscaloosa. But
right.
That's the way. Sometimes that's the way football goes. Yeah. Head coach Greg Tonjes, thank you very much. We'll have more on the Coach's Corner right after this. Kingman High School football live broadcasts are made possible by the generous support of these businesses. Desert Mountain Security Kingman, providing security services for residential, commercial, small business, and special events. Desert Mountain Security offers services in Arizona and Nevada with a force of professionally trained, uniformed, state-licensed security professionals. More online at desertmountainsecurity.com. By Uptown Drug and Home Medical Supply, with 3 locations in Kingman and Golden Valley. For over 30 years, Uptown Drug has been a strong partner in the success of our community, working with healthcare professionals to help residents enjoy a better, healthier life. Available online at uptownmed.com. And by American Woodmark Corporation, manufacturer of quality kitchen and bath cabinets for the home. American Woodmark embodies the marriage of technology, automation, and American craftsmanship. Like Kingman High School, American Woodmark maintains a culture of excellence, delivering a quality product with passion while creating opportunities for inspiration, growth, and achievement. American Woodmark Corporation, supporting our team and our community. Hey, back again at the Coach's Corner program, live from the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge at the Ramada Kingman. Defense coordinator Jeff Heidorf is here. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Well, it was one of those nights, man, out there in the rain and in the wind, and I think there was some sleet there too, the way it looked. It was a great night for football. Tell us about your overall plan going into the game for your defense.
Yeah, first of all, it was a great night for football. And it really wasn't, the weather wasn't really a factor. The kids all played great. They played their hearts out. I mean, we went in there, we had probably 4 different defenses to throw at them prior to the game. We worked on it all week, threw it at them during the game. They beat us. They outplayed our kids. They did a great job.
Well, there were certainly a high level of enthusiasm when they came into the stadium last night, and I think the experience the week before was big for them because they had such a pleasant experience playing at Big Dog Stadium, and so they were comfortable playing there. It felt like home to them after the experience the week before, and they came in with a game plan. I was surprised to see that their offense worked as well as it did in the first half, and then they made some adjustments in the second half. I just want to touch briefly on what happened at the beginning of the second half of play when they came out with their hurry-up offense and they set it up completely differently, as I said to Coach Town, just than anything I've seen. How did that affect your plan?
I thought we were doing pretty good the second half. We came out with some changes, and we were holding them pretty good there. We were actually driving them backwards a couple of the drives, and they just made their changes and adapted to it.
Well, it was surprising to see how quickly they did, and it was a give-and-take ball game in the first half, but you get nailed a couple of times, and it kind of takes the gas out of your game plan, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's one long run. It seems like everybody feels that the game's over. You feel that draw during the game. And we as coaches pick them back up and get them motivated and get them back out there. I mean, the kids played hard. I mean, they gave everything they got, and I'm proud of them.
And it's always been difficult in the second half. You run out of territory, you run out of fuel, and things kind of slow down, and then something like that hits you, a big long run, or the pendulum swings the other way. And like Coach Stroop said, games are usually lost, not won, and it's on penalties or a big play that swings it the other way and just sucks the life out of your team. And there were a couple of times last night when it looked like the Bulldogs were able to overcome a 2 or 3 touchdown deficit, but you get nailed a couple of times with those long runs in the third quarter, and then you got problems keeping your kids up.
Yeah, when you're constantly playing catch up, it makes it hard on everybody.
Damon went down last night with a knee. How'd that work out?
He's doing good. I think it's more of a bruise than anything, but he was up and moving around pretty good.
Yeah. Well, we wish the best for him. Coach Jeff Hydorf, thank you very much for being on the program again this morning on the Coach's Corner Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Kingman High School football live broadcasts are made possible by the generous support of these businesses. Ramada of Kingman, celebrating the success of the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge, home to the Kingman Bulldog football team and Saturday morning host of our Coach's Corner program. The Ramada Kingman on Route 66 at the Andy Devine exit off Interstate 40. By the Right C by Dr. C, the next generation of vitamin C, providing a natural energy boost and a 400% superior absorption, making it the athlete's vitamin C. The Right C is stomach-friendly, pH neutral, and non-acidic. Available in easily dissolving powder or in caplet form. You'll find the Right C at Uptown Drug, Del Webb Wellness Center, Anytime Fitness, Desert Sky Fitness, or online at drcvitamins.com. And by Colorado River Ford Lincoln of Kingman and Colorado River Ford of Bullhead City, proudly supporting the Kingman High School football team. Like the Bulldogs, the Colorado River Ford family of dealerships have a strong, committed, professional, and knowledgeable team ready to help you. Colorado River Ford Lincoln on Stockton Hill Road in Kingman and Colorado River Ford Highway 95, Bullhead City.
Back again at the Ramada Kingman and our Coach's Corner program, live from the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge. And offensive line coach, special teams conditioning coach, and the guy who cleans the bus, Orrin Lancaster, is with us this morning. Morning, buddy. How you doing?
Good morning.
Well, tell me about your line last night down in the trenches. It was a fight.
Yeah, it was. Overall, they did really well. Our biggest problem on our offensive line is just being able to drive block. Our offensive linemen, if you haven't been to a game, aren't very big, but they do a heck of a job. We started the season, we were kind of just putting kids together and being like, all right, so this is what we have, let's work with it. And we built them up, and last night they did a pretty good job against the 4-man front. Our problem was not so much the D line, I believe it was number 6. He was the wild card, and he blitzed every single play. So he'd be on one person, another person, another person, another person. So even though we had the 4-man front that wasn't moving as much, we had another guy who was just blitzing all the time, just constantly moving around. It did create a little confusion.
Well, a good offensive line opens up some great holes for your running game, and if it's done well, it just looks like a good ballet. And you had pretty good luck with that last night. I probably half a dozen times or more that Isaiah Perez just had a great shot at an open hole, and he just breezed through without getting touched. So I was impressed with that. Did you see that too last night? And what was your plan coming in? Did you block differently and lay out your offensive plan differently?
No, strangely enough, there's something I always tell the coaches. I'm like, hey, we can open a hole the size of the football field. The problem with my offensive line is we have trouble getting into the secondary. So our responsibility is not just the offensive line in front of us. Our responsibility is the linebackers to take out the secondary, so it's a one-on-one thing with the safety. And hopefully if everything's done right, there'll be an H up there to crack on him. So we did a great job opening the holes. Our problem as the offensive line was reaching the secondary. So that's where we kind of where we're definitely going to be working and getting better. When you start with a bunch of kids who are learning offensive line, you have to teach first the basics of blocking before you can teach about the secondary. And then once you start teaching the secondary, you have to make sure you maintain the basics of blocking.
Well, I think you had all that down last night, and I was surprised how much luck you had snapping directly to Perez.
Yeah, our center, he did a heck of a job last night snapping. Last year, we almost couldn't get the ball to the quarterback. This year, we get the ball almost every time to whoever we need to get it to, and I'm actually really impressed. I think there was only one botched, and it was just miscommunication between the two and a wildcat that was like, okay, that one right there is that like. But the rest of the night it was amazing. I was actually tremendously impressed.
Well, you guys did a good job. A great line on the great job on the O-line in difficult circumstances too. You didn't have much footing for the first couple of quarters of that ball game. Tough getting any traction and in forward motion to push that defensive line back. But you did a great job. Talk just briefly about your conditioning at this point and how you felt your special teams worked last night.
The conditioning, as a conditioning coach, the conditioning can always be better. I feel that there's always room for improvement, just like anybody else. I always feel like there's more room for improvement. I feel like if these guys aren't running, a 440 and being able to bench 300 pounds, there's always more room to be done. Conditioning, they did really well with that. The special teams, we didn't get as many yards as we wanted to. I think some of it did play into it was slick out there. The other half is the academy really wanted it. They really wanted it. I mean, they really, really, really wanted it, and they were coming at us like they really wanted it. The problem is most teams we played, they play like they're they've already won, and we try to adjust that. This team came out there and wanted us. They wanted to prove that they wanted to win, and it really showed. And they were hitting hard. They were a little dinged up tonight, but I mean, special teams that's where they really wanted to shine.
Well, did a great job. Thanks again, Oren, for a great job as a coach and inspiring the kids and leading them to where you want them to be as not only players but individuals as well. So, Oren Lancaster, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Kingman High School football live broadcasts are made possible by the generous support of these businesses. Taco Bell. For more than 20 years, Taco Bell has paved the way for teens to graduate from high school and to gain the confidence it takes to reach their full potential. This year, the Taco Bell Foundation is recognizing teens who have pursued their passions with the launch of #SeeMyPotential, a social media site celebrating the success of teens. Learn more at TacoBellFoundation.org. By T-Mobile of Kingman and the new T-Mobile Simply Prepaid store in the Safeway Plaza on North Stockton Hill Road. T-Mobile offers iPhones and Galaxy devices with single and family plans for downloading, surfing, streaming video, music, online gaming, and reliable text messaging. The T-Mobile Simply Prepaid store in the Safeway Plaza, North Stockton Hill Road. And by Datamax Wireless, your local reliable source in Mojave County for 4G wireless internet and voice services for home and business. The Datamax WeCom family celebrates Kingman High School sports through their commitment to delivering the high-quality communication service that makes it possible for you to hear this live broadcast tonight. Thank you to John Waters and his team at Datamax Kingman.
Now we're back on the Coach's Corner program on 90.7 KJZK on Saturday morning here at the Ramada Kingman and the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge. Well, Player of the Week with Coach Greg Tonjes this morning. I want to acknowledge the Trujillos and the Perez's in the house this morning. Came out for breakfast. Always great conversation talking about what happened last night. And Isaiah Perez had a good game. You know, despite the less than favorable footing conditions out there, but the field was in great shape. Once in a while, just a little tough to make a cut when you're trying to hang on to a grease pig and make a turn real quick, but that's kind of the way it went last night. It was a great game. Coach Tonjes is here with Isaiah Perez.
Yeah, hey, I mean, it seems like it's a regular thing, isn't it? Where Isaiah's here as a player of the game, and you know, there's a lot of kids that did a great job last night for us, and every week, you know, and you have one that just, you know, last night, you know, rushes the ball 23 times for 154 yards and catches another couple, you know, has another couple catches for 8 or 10 yards, and you know, hopefully we can get him over 1,000 for the season, which would be a great accomplishment for him. But he's already accomplished so much, and you know, I say this before, Tom. I mean, he just every single practice, every single play, he plays like it's the last play he'll ever play. And, you know, I heard LaDainian Tomlinson years ago, you know, say that that's how he plays the game. And, you know, that worked out as a Hall of Fame career for him. So, you know, I'm real proud of what he continues to do. And we're working right now to, you know, with several colleges to get him to go continue his career after this. But, again, he just continues to play. We had him on defense, too. I mean, I don't know if you guys probably see that, but I don't know if the audience needs to know. I mean, he played literally every down, and one down that he came out where I think he had a little boo-boo in his tum-tum. You know, we sat him out, and I actually called a timeout just to, you know, let him recover. And I went over to him and said, "What's wrong?" He said, "Well, I can't breathe." And I said, "Okay, well, hurry up and start breathing so we can get you back in there." You know, and he goes, "Okay, I will, Coach." And sure enough, you know, came right back out and got him back out. Great kid, great player, and definitely can go play some college ball.
Well, Isaiah, what do you think? That's 3 100-plus games on the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 2 coming in and then 1 last night, so that's 300 pluses. Yeah, great job going both ways, and I think everybody observed the fact that you were both O&D last night, and I think of the last series of the game, you're down there on your 8-yard line when you turn the ball over, standing in the end zone trying to defend on that last series for the Tigers. So a valiant effort. What did you think last night?
Well, I try to pump up the defense as much as I can to stop them from the academy from scoring. You know, try to have our responsibilities, try to have the defense to stop the academy as much as we can.
Well, you were trying to organize that last stand there down by the goal line, getting the defensive line in there and lined up right, and trying to encourage the kids to keep up during that last offensive drive by the Tigers. And you know, when you're in the third quarter of a game like that, it is difficult to keep your energy and physicality.
It is. It just comes down to who wants it more, who wants to push 100% on every play.
And I think that's a good comparison, too, the coach saying you play every down like it's your last down.
Yeah.
Well, plans for next week. What do you think about Mojave briefly?
Mojave, I haven't watched really much film about them, but as long as everyone does their jobs, we can come out on top. Pretty much that's basically about it.
Yeah, you can watch the films, but if you don't have the attitude, it doesn't make any difference, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Isaiah Perez, thank you very much. Back with closing thoughts in just a moment.
Kingman High School football live broadcasts are made possible by the generous support of these businesses. Nucor Steel Kingman, celebrating Kingman High School sports and our community by sharing its sustainable success as a company. Nucor cares about the things that matter most: workplace safety, the health and protection of our environment, and outreach to the places we work and call home. Nucor Steel Kingman, a strong partner in the success of our youth. By Pizza Hut. Like the Bulldog football team and Kingman High School, Pizza Hut celebrates a heritage of success. For 55 years, Pizza Hut has been a partner in the communities it serves, supporting youth sports programs. This year, Pizza Hut joins a national initiative aimed at giving 100,000 young people a meaningful first job. Like sports, at Pizza Hut, the most important ingredient is our people. And by Frontier Communications. taking this opportunity to thank our veterans, active military, and their families for their service to our country. Frontier recognizes those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom and supports veterans and their families by supporting community service organizations. Frontier Communications Kingman, saluting our veterans.
And back on the Coach's Corner program on 90.7 FM, KJZK, on the internet at kjza.org. And no matter where you go, you'll hear this show across the state. We're promoting Kingman and the good things that happen here. And, of course, football is one of our strong points. We had a historic year here with these three teams meeting in the city championship for the first time ever. It may change next year if the AIA realigns the divisions and the sections. But it was a great year. No matter what, the scores and the records will live on in numbers, and the broadcast of these games will live on somewhere on the internet or on DVD in color and black and white or on a CD, and I'll be glad in my later years in the nursing home to recant the stories of what a great experience this was if you want to sit down and have a conversation. Hey, next week it's the Bulldogs down in beautiful Bullhead City against Mojave. It'll be a great game. We are not broadcasting that game, but the week after that, the Bulldogs wrap up their season at home against the Wickenburg Wranglers, and we'll be covering that game live. It's homecoming, so that's always a great time here in the big city in K-Town. I'd like to thank the Ramada Kingman, home of the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge, the Right C Vitamin C by Dr. C, the Colorado River Ford family of dealerships, Frontier Communications, Kingman Regional Medical Center. Thanks also to Rutherford's Family 66 Diner, Taco Bell, the T-Mobile Simply Prepaid Store, Datamax Wireless, Nucor Steel, and to Pizza Hut, Desert Mountain Security, Uptown Drug and Home Medical Supply, American Woodmark Corporation, my friends at John Grave Propane, and Coast Inn Gas and Convenience Store, the Union 76 station in Golden Valley. Thanks for being a part of our show. Thanks for listening to football on the radio. We enjoy bringing it to you. Hope you enjoy listening and the entertainment value it brings for those people that don't necessarily like football but tune in just for the stupid stuff we do. Next week, back on the radio. Until then, have a great weekend, everybody.